The 79th block, a place where loyalty gets tested daily and chains carry more weight than words, where poles and switches determine who walks away and who gets carried out. Some beefs start with disrespect. Others begin with bullet. But this one started with greed and ended with bodies dropping across Chicago's south side. This is the story of the beef that got Bloodhound Q50 in his leg. Blood on the porch. It was fall 2023 when Q50 and Lil Jeff were chilling on a porch at 79th in Maryland. Deep in their own territory where they felt untouchable, the two Bloodhound members were probably talking about their next move against Trap City or planning another drill when they heard the screeching tires. A dark whip came speeding down the block with Trap City Span and other Trap City members inside ready to catch their ops. 50 and Lil Jeff barely had time to react before the started. The Trap City savages opened fire from the moving vehicle, letting off shot after at the two Bloodhound members who were sitting ducks on that porch. Q50 caught multiple bullets in his leg, the impact dropping him immediately as blood started pooling beneath him. Lil Jeff managed to dive for cover and escape without getting hit, but his day one was laid out on that porch bleeding heavily. The Trap City sped off, leaving Q50 writhing in pain while Lil Jeff frantically called for help. An ambulance soon rushed him to the hospital where doctors would spend hours trying to save his leg. The bullets had done serious damage, tearing through muscle and possibly hitting bone. Q50 spent weeks in that hospital bed, unable to walk while his enemies celebrated putting him there. Each day in that hospital room probably reminded him that Trap City had caught him slipping and left him possibly disabled. The guilt ate at Lil Jeff because he'd escaped unharmed while his closest friend took all the bullets. That guilt would soon turn into something much more dangerous, a burning need for revenge. While Q50 lay in that hospital bed learning to walk, again Lil Jeff was already planning retaliation. The sight of his partner struggling to move had lit a fire in him. That wouldn't be extinguished until Trap City blood was spilled. Streets would soon learn that in Q50 had awakened something savage in Lil Jeff. Trap City members felt victorious after successfully hitting one of Bloodhound's main steppers without losing anyone in return. They'd proven they could strike an enemy territory and escape safely, sending a message that nowhere was safe for their ops. Days later, while Q50 was still recovering in his hospital bed, Lil Jeff spotted Trap City's lull getting into a lift. Opportunity for revenge had presented itself, and Lil Jeff wasn't going to let it slip away. He approached the vehicle with his drawn and open fire, hitting Lyle multiple times before the driver could react. Lyle died right there in that lift, his blood painting the interior while the traumatized driver called 911. Lil Jeff had gotten his get back for Q50, but this was just the beginning of a war that would claim many more lives. Nobody got picked up for the hit, but Bloodhound quickly took credit online.
You want that chain, little nigga? He tried to run him, he tried to get in the car and pull off. I never been
It ain't no familiar.
Blood in, blood out. That's just how I'm living. If you can snatch and search a mouth, we don't condone the snitching. Pay attention, I can show you that. I can show you something.
Pay attention, little boy. You know that.
Wasn't the first person killed in this war. A rapper was the first to lose his life in the violence. And what's even crazier is that it all started over a chain. When chains get snatched. In early 2023, Lil Jeff was walking through the hood when he spotted Carter from Trap City wearing a chain that caught his eye. The jewelry was flashy enough to make a statement, and Lil Jeff decided he wanted it for himself. He ran up on Carter and snatched the chain from him. Carter was heated about getting robbed in broad daylight, especially by someone from a crew that was supposed to be allied with Trap City through the 0679 alliance. The disrespect cut deeper than the financial loss because it showed that Lil Jeff didn't fear retaliation from Trap City members. When Trap City confronted Lil Jeff about the stolen chain, he looked them in the face and lied. This was based on claims from Reddit. Jeff said the chain got lost during a police chase, spinning a story about running from 12 and having to ditch the jewelry to avoid getting caught with it. The obvious lie made Trap City members even more heated because Lil Jeff was treating them like they were stupid. A chase then ensued through the streets with both sides determined to settle the dispute. Lil Jeff jumped out of his car and ran after the Trap City associates. Shots were fired with Jeff taking multiple chest hits. One Reddit thread mentioned at least 15 shots. Man, Lil Jeff chased even came online and posted about it. Changed everything between the crews. What started as a chain snatching had now involved bloodshed, crossing a line that made peaceful resolution impossible. Trap City knew they had to respond with violence or risk looking weak to other crews who might try similar violations. On March 16, 2023, Lil Cap from Trap City was hunting for targets when he spotted Zoni. Zoni was just 22 years old when Lil Cap approached him with On His Mind. The confrontation was brief and deadly. Lil Cap pulled out his gun and fired multiple shots, dropping Zoni on the spot. Z-Money right there on that Chicago street, becoming the first casualty in what would become a devastating war between former allies. In a Vlad TV interview, Bloodhound Q50 even brought up Zoni's.
Like Z was the like, he don't do no wrong. Like Z don't do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? He brother don't lie, he don't cheat, he don't steal, like Z was.
The murder of Zoni officially ended the 0679 alliance that had previously united Drill City, MTV, 400E Murder Drive, and Trap City under common interests. A partnership that had brought stability and strength to all four crews crumbled in the wake of Zoni's blood, creating new enemies where there had once been brothers. What started as Lil Jeff's small move turned major, breaking ties, sparking new beefs, and eventually leading to his own downfall. The urge to retaliate grew stronger, especially after Trap City members started mocking Zoni's online and threw subtle in their music, like in Taro's track Noah's. The lyrics of the song went like this: Zoni was the first, but like the curse, I'm tired of Sean's. They did in bogus. Reddit users started piecing the story together, dropping timelines and theories. People who knew both sides chimed in with details on how the link-up fell apart and why the situation kept getting hotter. Zoni's funeral pulled a big crowd. He wasn't just seen as another street dude to his people. He was family, a solid one, who got caught up in a war he wasn't even really involved in. His the Bloodhound camp deep, and it lit a fire in some to slide back on Trap City. Mentally losing Zoni shook the crew. He was well respected, and his loss forced a choice. Let it go and look weak, or get active and risk more bodies dropping on both sides. Shortly after Zimoni, the Bloodhounds lay out. When Jeff caught Big Motion from Trap City, he didn't just rob, or he made him say AL on camera, turning it into a clip that disrespected a fallen homie and left Big Motion with a moment that would follow him for life. This wasn't just street violence, it was a statement. Bloodhound turned it into performance, using humiliation and viral content to shake their ops and boost their rep online. Video racked up thousands of views, letting everyone know Bloodhound wasn't just sliding, they were putting it on display. Then on August 31st, 2023, Jeff and Q50 caught Glenn from Trap City and hit him 15 times, showing they weren't interested in breaking even. They were trying to run up the score. Lil Jeff took to Instagram to speak on it.
I love that nigga. That's stuff. Too bad his ass ain't. He get to see y'all. I'm glad though, he can see y'all talk about him all day. Cause that should've died. Ain't that nigga at that store should've died. They always talking about homies. Nigga, they always talking about.
But Trap City hit back later that fall, catching Q50 and him in the leg, reminding folks they could still touch Bloodhound even with all the extra security. Toward the end of 2023, Bloodhound got T3 from Trap City 2 and didn't just stop there. They even rapped about it in a track, turning real-life smoke into music.
Oh, T3 blood. I was sure.
But it wasn't just bullets that flew. These crews went at each other through music too. Diss tracks became weapons, with both sides using lyrics to mock losses, throw shade, and keep tensions boiling. Drill War Chronicles. After Q50 he went on to record a snippet that would become one of the most threatening diss tracks in Chicago drill history. 762's I'm About to Drink, They Hurt, They Little Up, I Too Fast, Can't Run You Slow, Hit the Flow, You Won't Get Up. Q50 rapped into the microphone, dissing the deceased layout. Rap was a detailed confession about how he'd gotten revenge for his shooting wrapped in musical form. Users on Reddit were among the first to share the snippet online, posting with commentary that showed insider knowledge of the beef. The post exploded with comments from users debating whether Q50 was really about that life or just talking tough for the cameras. Lil Jeff joined Q50 in the studio around June 5th, 2024 to record a collaborative snippet targeting Lalal. The two Bloodhound members sat side by side, taking turns delivering venomous bars about their dead enemy. Their chemistry on the track reflected their real-life partnership in both music and They Tried Too Loud, I Can't Hear, and the screaming abracadabra I know magic make _disappear. These lines were part of the song's lyrics. Joint snippets circulated on Reddit and other social media platforms with fans analyzing every lyric for hidden meanings and references to actual events. Comments range from praise for the raw energy to criticism of glorifying violence that had affected real families. Lil Jeff wasn't satisfied with just one diss track. He wanted to terrorize every Trap City member through his music. Around June 10th, 2024, he recorded another snippet specifically targeting Lil Pooh, describing in detail how he'd been watching and waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Lil Pooh dissed Z, now Lil Pooh gone? Or that never take too long, laying in the grass and telling me to come home. Lil Jeff rapped with a deadly tone. The lyrics laid out real moves, surveillance, setups, and getbacks that most rappers wouldn't dare speak on. Lil Pooh got dissed. Reddit heads started saying the track felt way too personal. Like Jeff wasn't just rapping, he was airing out plays. Some even said he was basically admitting to watching his ops and promising to spin again, even if the target wasn't active in the beef. On YouTube, the comments showed how mixed the crowd was. Some fans hyped up the rawness, calling it real street rap. Others were worried, pointing out that Jeff was dropping too many details that could easily catch police attention. Back and forth in music became more than entertainment. It turned into a digital trail. Each song marked another chapter in the beef, with timestamps that could be used in court. Started in the streets was now archived online. Fans were clearly split. The younger ones saw it as real-life storytelling, but older heads questioned why the cycle of violence was getting glorified. To them, it looked like drill was becoming less about music and more about real bodies dropping. One user shared the opinion that modern rap has gone downhill. Said, "Yeah, I've just gone fully back to 90s rap for the time being. Nothing about the new era is positive. It's all face tats and done." Meanwhile, Trap City didn't say much. Back in the booth, their lack of response gave Bloodhound the upper hand in shaping the story. While the streets were active, the mic stayed quiet and Bloodhound ran the narrative. And with how social media pushes content, these tracks didn't stay local. They went viral, spreading the beef beyond Chicago. That kind of exposure made it harder for anyone to say it was just music. Threats were public and the whole world was watching. Comes knocking. On June 8th, 2024, Lil Jeff was riding through Trap City territory with his crew, looking for Glenn, who had somehow survived their previous attempt on his life. The Bloodhound Savage was determined to finish what they'd started. Unaware that Trap City had been expecting this exact scenario and preparing an ambush. Trap City Rob had been probably studying Lil Jeff's pattern, learning his habits and preferred routes through enemy territory. When word came that Lil Jeff was in the area, loafing in a car, Rob grabbed his and moved into position for what would become the most significant kick, the ongoing beef. Lil Jeff's crew was parked in what they thought was a safe spot, probably planning their approach to catch Glenn unawares. False confidence that came from their previous successful hits had made them careless about their own security while hunting in enemy territory. Rob approached the vehicle with his weapon drawn, catching Lil Jeff and his crew completely off guard. Bloodhound members had been so focused on hunting their target that they'd become targets themselves. Rob opened fire at close range, hitting Lil Jeff multiple times in what witnesses would later describe as an execution. Lil Jeff right there in that car while his crew scrambled to escape. Same Savage who had terrorized Trap City members for months was now lifeless. Reign of terror ended by someone who'd been patient enough to wait for the perfect opportunity. Trap City even released a video mocking Lil Jeep.
Hey, this is what he did on the camera.
Q50 was reportedly in the area when that happened in social media. Footage later showed him limping away from the scene. News of Lil Jeff's hit him harder than any bullet ever could. His closest friend, partner in crime, and protector was gone, leaving him alone to face Trap City's continued aggression while dealing with his own physical limitations and emotional trauma. He went on to post a picture with a caption asking the late Lil Jeff to pray for him. Reddit heads watching Q50 social started worrying about his mindset. Some said the way he was moving, dropping threats, and venting online was either going to get him locked up or laid out. Then came the arrest. Trap City Rob got picked up for Lil Jeffs after witnesses claimed they saw him at the scene. Cops booked him in the county and the state looked ready to build a solid case, but the case didn't stick. Witnesses switched. Upper went quiet and Rob's lawyer played the mutual combat angle, saying Jeff pulled up first and Rob just reacted. That move, plus the lack of solid testimony, made prosecutors drop charge. Rob still caught a less case, but the big one disappeared. Bloodhound was heated to them. Rob walked away from their guy without real payback from the system. Fast forward to October 19th, 2024. Carter from Trap City was caught lacking in his own hood. Fears weren't directly tied to Bloodhound, but everyone knew it was connected. The move was quiet plan. No names, no faces, just bullets and business. Carter got hit multiple times and didn't make it. For Q50 and his circle, it was the long game paying off. It wasn't loud, but it was loud enough. A body for a body, Jeff's name stamped on the play. Meanwhile, Q50's IG still stays active. Posts, bars, and captions that federal eyes are still watching. The gun wound in his leg says, a lot more than pain. It's a reminder that this life leaves marks you don't recover from. Streets keep running up numbers. Families stay grieving, and the scoreboard doesn't ever reset. At this rate, the only real question is whether Q50 makes it to see how his own story ends. If you like this video, click one of the windows on either side to watch a video similar to this.